Hi there, folks. My name is NovaWrap, and welcome to the NovaWrap, your one-stop location for your simulation release news and goings on from the week that was. So here we are for another exciting episode on Sunday, the 11th of August, and we're going to get straight into it with, quite honestly, some news that I wasn't expecting. So I may have preempted some things, actually, perhaps in I think it was the last episode where I sort of said that we're going to see less and less of the 32-bit content, because basically all the major developers now have all turned around and said that they are no longer going to either produce content for the original Flight Sim X or even the earlier versions of Prepared, because 64-bit was the way to go. In fact, this particular developer that's had this brand new release this week made a very clear statement that they were not intending to develop for anything other than Prepared v4 in its most latest format, just barely, I think, 2 months ago. In terms of the ESP platform space. So definitely for me, Milviz surprised me by actually coming out this week and releasing their PC6, Pilatus PC6 Porter for FSX Steam Edition. So, there's nothing new in it. It's the same aircraft that we saw released for Prepared v4 several months ago. It's slightly dumbed down in the fact that it doesn't have the PBR texturing anymore. But otherwise, that's it. It doesn't have the True Glass on the instruments. So that's really kind of it. Otherwise, it still offers this great, beautiful, highly detailed 3D model, both internally and externally. Custom set of flight dynamics and custom coding for the PT6 engine, which of course is the mainstay of the turboprop world, and the custom coding of their avionics systems as well, and does include a complimentary copy, a locked copy of the Milviz Rex weather gauge. So, as I said, I think it's great that they brought it to the platform. That's great. As I said, I'm very surprised because they made their very definitive statement that they weren't coming over. So, thanks very much, Milviz, for continuing to support the many people that still fly in the 32-bit stems. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the aircraft because, as I said, we've covered it off previously in the show, and as I said, it has been available for quite a few months now in the Prepared v4 space. But needless to say, it is possibly the most highly detailed rendition of a Pilatus Porter kicking around at all. So, if you are interested in grabbing a hold of a STOL aircraft, a very fine version of STOL aircraft that comes in multiple versions, so the wheeled, float, and skied versions are all included with this. You definitely probably can't go wrong with this one. Also coming in at they do also acknowledge as well that they actually come in at a slightly cheaper price of the 32-bit version at only $30 US or original equivalent, available now from Milviz. Continuing on in other surprise releases for 32-bit sims, a bit of a 32-bit renaissance this week. The guys over at A1R Design Bureau, a really cool, interesting mob of Russian developers that we've sort of provided as a promotion of some of their stuff in the past. They've re-released their Yak-12A, which was a high-wing piston engine multi-role STOL aircraft. So pretty much the sort of Eastern European sort of the Soviet version of a Pilatus PC6 Porter, I suppose, just with the piston engine rather than the turboprop. They released that for Prepared v4 again months ago, 3 months ago or more, and sort of that was it. It was Prepared v4 exclusive, that's it, and in a conversation. And pretty much from what I can tell, out of nowhere, they've dropped on the community a 32-bit version. So this one, again, although unlike Milviz, this one is fully compatible with all of the 32-bit ones, so FSX Steam Edition and Prepared versions 1, 2, and 3. Otherwise, again, no changes, no updates. From what I can tell, no real either downgrades either, because I don't believe the Prepared v4 one didn't actually support PBR. At least not when we reported on it. So, so really no real change for it. Coming in a little bit cheaper though, but as I said, yeah, this one's supporting the full range of 32-bit platforms. Now, interestingly enough, for this one, so yeah, if you're buying this one brand new, you're looking at buy it for market about $22 or regional equivalent. If you are an existing owner of the Prepared V4 version and you want to pick up the 32-bit version, they're offering an upgrade price for about $8, $9 for you to be able to pick up the 32-bit version. So yeah, if you're interested in that one, so you can pick this one up either direct from A1R Studios website, or you can pick it up from Sim Market, available now. Continuing on with aircraft releases for the weeks, the guys over at Just Flight have released their highly anticipated rendition of the PA28 Tomahawk. Whoa, dear, what a tongue tie that was. The PA38 Tomahawk for all of the ESP platforms, so for FSX and prepared in all its beautiful formats. So this one is a kind of interesting aircraft for me. Having flown in a real one a few times over the years, and also, funny enough, having reviewed the Carinado one a few years ago, I'll be hoping to get my hands on this one to see what it's like. Now, this comes to us from the in-house development team of Just Flight, who've very excelled in their skills of bringing high-quality piston engine aircraft to GA piston engine aircraft to life, and the PA38 Tomahawk is no exception. So this is a very common in the sites in the skies around the world, particularly in Europe and North America, serving as both a training aircraft and as a cross-country touring aircraft. So I think it's technically 4 seats. It's a bit cramped in the back, but it's, yeah, as I said, a nice compact little aircraft that's fully functional both for day and night operations. Now, in terms of this aircraft, it comes with a highly detailed 3D model both internally and externally. All designed and built around access to a real world aircraft as well. A variety of animations, ground equipment, all included pretty much as standard, coming through with 4K textures, 4K HD textures throughout. It does support PBR if you are installing it into Prepared V4.4 and above. It does support PBR. In terms of the cockpit systems, highly detailed 3D model again of internally, with all instrumentations done with their customs 3D modeling as well. A beautiful set of internal textures as well, with all their various weathering as well. They've continued to recreate their authentic fuel and RPM gauge needle wobbles during the aircraft is flying, which is kind of cool. Interactive engine start checks, pretty much standard stuff for Just Flight these days, along with their modelling of the variety of aircraft systems, including fully functional carburetor, heat and primer controls, and primer simulation for cold weather operations. So it will listen to what your weather engine is telling you that the temperature of the systems is like out there. Also includes modelling, as usual, as we've seen from Just Flight before, for the spark plug fouling, limited battery life, vapor lock system and vapor lock episodes, as well as some other things, and refill menu, custom code electrical systems, all sorts of other things as well. Also does support single click configuration for either cold and dark or ready to take off, and it remembers the panel state of the aircraft when you last flew it. So again, a lot of the stuff that was pioneered by A2A is also it's great to see it being adopted by more developers as time goes on. It also does support so a variety of flight systems are all custom coded, custom modeled, including the standard GPS setup. Also supports the integration of Flight 1 GTN GNS integration into the virtual cockpit as well, if you are an owner of that. Also includes a custom authentic sound set of the Lycoming 0235 engine as well. So looking pretty cool, amazing, with 10 liveries. So looking pretty cool, pretty awesome, coming in at the standard price from Just Flight of $42 or your regional equivalent, available now. Continuing on with ESP releases, and again seeing a release for all of the ESP's platforms, 32 and 64-bit alike, comes from the guys over at Vario Designs with their rendition of Harris Hill Soaring Corporation. So this is, apparently, I was doing a bit of research on this and I didn't realize that this is the home to the National Glider Museum in the United States. It's a very historical field, as being one of the earliest fields to actually have gliding and like flight gliding operations in the United States, including the first place where the U.S. Navy first began experimenting with non-motorized flying at the start of the 20th century. So, kind of cool bit of history there as well for this one. It does also support GA. It's still primarily there as a glider operations, but it does support limited GA operations as well. So with the did once upon a time have fixed a launching mechanism for gliders, though takeoffs are now done by towing with the help of a Pawnee PA28 aircraft. Otherwise, it does support. So it obviously now supports a fully concreted runway, which has been there since since 1969. But as I said, it still provides primarily for gliding operations. In terms of the content as well, it's fully designed to be fully compatible with all of Orbix's products for around the area. High resolution 30 centimeter per pixel photo reel for the airfield and surrounding area. Ultra detailed 3D buildings for all airport buildings as well, and all provided in 4K textures with a variety of custom objects and night textures as well applied as well. Probably the only thing that I must say, I sometimes I gotta say that I didn't think anyone actually flew gliders in our sims anymore, but I'll tell you very apparently there are a lot of you out there, so great work guys, keep going. Probably the only thing that would have been kind of cool would be as if there would have been a way for them to put in, because I remember reading somewhere that you can actually change what the default glider towing aircraft is in FSX. I've never actually tried a glider towing aircraft in Prepared. I must say I've never tried it, but I'm assuming it is still called the Maul Orion. But apparently there is a way where you can actually tell it to actually call another object. So would it be kind of cool if there was any way they could actually put in like an AI Pawnee PA25 in there to be able to do your towing, because that would be cool. But anyway, I'm just sort of going off on a tangent with that one. But if you are wanting to pick this one up for your gliding experience, you can pick this one up for $15 US or your original equivalent, available now from Sim Market. Continuing on with other scenery releases for the ESP world, the guys over at Cloudberry Sim have released their rendition of Oakland International Airport. So this rendition is only for Prepared, so it supports both Prepared V3 and V4. So not 32-bit exclusive, 30 or 64-bit exclusive, but as I said, it does only apparently support Prepared. Otherwise, Oakland International is a hub for a great deal of international airlines serving both international and domestic operations from outside the city of Oakland in California. Now, this is the airport as it appears at the start of 2019, including all major international, all major buildings, including the updated international arrivals building and the new control tower, as well as noting that the old tower has been demolished and to remove it from there as well. Full implementation of the parallel runway operations, including making it optimized for AI traffic to allow AI traffic to actually use it. The northern runways are used by GA aircraft, and the southern runway is used by the airliners. This one is designed to be worked. Now, this is one thing I must say that's kind of interesting about this one. Actually, I'll get to that in a second. So, other features of this one: full implementation of custom models of both the airport and surrounding area as well, including all major bridges are included with custom 3D models. Full implementation of a range of photoreal scenery for the airport and surrounding area. Full set of nightlight, custom light lighting as well. Also designed to support GSX jetways. Variety of custom vehicles and AI aircraft, static aircraft are also included, with also updated land class for the surrounding area as well. Now, something that I really want to note about this one as well, which is interesting. So it's designed to work with, and this is a bit odd. So it's in terms of its compatibility. So it is designed to work with the FTX Global, Vector, and OpenLC. Or is using the prepared default textures and setups as well. Also designed to be compatible and work well with other Bay Area airports, including Flightbeam's San Francisco. However, what was very interesting here, that they specifically call out that it is not compatible with Orbix's Northern California, which for me seems to be a massive oversight. especially considering that it's designed to support global and vector, which is pretty much stock standard. But it's very interesting that they did making it not compatible with Northern California. And if you're a person who flies in that area regularly, or I suppose probably more for a GA flyer, you're going to have that region. So that was a very interesting omission. Not really sure why they did that, but. So if anybody from Cloudberry is watching, I'd love to hear why you chose to make it compatible with FTX Global and Vector, but not compatible with Northern California. That'd be interesting. Anyway, as I said, if you wanted to pick this one up for your prepared experience, looking at about $19 US or your original equivalent, available now from SimMarket. Alrighty, moving out of the ESP world, moving into the world of X-Plane with quite a few, with a lot of scenery releases this week. Not so very much going on in terms of aircraft releases that at least that I could find. But what we could find is quite a few scenery releases now. Starting off with the guys over at FSDG coming out with a double release this week. So this week they brought to life two of their probably more popular add-ons. So the first one they brought out was their rendition of Cape Town. So Cape Town being one of the most busiest airports in South Africa. They've brought this one out, so it's a fully accurate rendition of Cape Town Airport as it appears at the start of 2019. Detailed high-resolution aerial imagery, working jetways with the SAM plugin, full implementation of PBR ground materials and 3D buildings as well as updated night lighting to take full advantage of all of the X-Plane 11 features, which is really kind of cool to see. So very impressive to see this one. I said it doesn't look like there's any updates or changes. It's just simply a straight out copy or port over from the ESP version. But great to see that it's come over to support for those South African pilots. Now, in the second release this week, so it was the release of Bremen International Airport, bringing it over from the ESP platform over onto X-Plane. So this is a accurate rendition of Bremen Hans Koschnick Airport and surrounding area, as it appears again in 2019. Again, custom high-resolution aerial imagery of the airport and surrounding area, working jetways for the SAM plug-in, full implementation of dynamic lighting, full use of PBR ground materials, enhanced lighting, and PBR on major buildings as well. A variety of animations are included as well, including the animated tram and approach lights, jetways, and martial arts, so kind of cool. What's different about this one, though, is it does also support Terramax's seasonal texturing as well, and also compatible with Ortho XP, and also supporting winter textures as well. So a bit more extra has gone into this one than the Cape Town one. But yeah, great to see there's a lot of that multi-seasonal stuff's come through to support this one. Now, both of these add-ons are available for about 25 euros or $28 US each, available now from, if you are living in the European area, you can pick them up directly from the FSDG's online store. If, however, you live outside of the EU, you need to pick this up from one of their partners. I believe this is available from SimMarket, and I think possibly from Just Flight as well. I have to check that one. But yeah, definitely available from, just check out your favorite online retailer, available now. Continuing on with other scenery releases this week for X-Plane 11. Moving on to the guys from Orbix, released a couple of releases this week. So the first one we saw was the release of 2 Whiskey 3 Swanson Airport. So this is a little rural airport in the middle of the Washington state. So probably very much leveraging off the recently released sort of True Earth Washington series of photos of high definition scenery from Orbix. This single runway airstrip is a as I said, it's not really much to say to it. It's a single runway ops in a regional part. So if you're looking for a $100 hamburger run, this is probably going to be a great one for you. They've created the airport as it appears. Now this is a port over of the ESP version, so this is dating back a couple of years now. So I don't know how up to date it is at the moment. You're looking at custom photo real scenery, everything ranging from 15 to 60 centimeters per pixel resolution, full modeling of all airport buildings as well as the surrounding township as well. All major airports, all airport buildings and houses of business buildings are all modeled as well. You also get photoreal scenery of not just the airport but the surrounding area, including Lake Ohop as well as a variety of custom static aircraft and static vehicles are all done, as well as the entire town of Eatonville is also modeled and included. Also includes seamless integration into the aforementioned True Earth US Washington State as well. So if you wanted to pick this one up, this one's available for $23 or your regional equivalent, available now from Orbix. And the other release from Orbix this week, probably their very much a lot more longer awaited one, was their release of Innsbruck Airport for a X-Plane 11. Now this is a veritable, they call it a mini region because there's over 8,000 square kilometers is actually covered by this. It's nuts how much is actually included in this. So not only do you get the airport and its high definition coverage with all airport buildings modeled the beautiful, distinctly, incredibly detailed Orbix style, including custom ground service equipment, custom sort of model implementation, high definition textures for all the models of all the airport buildings, full implementation of night lighting as well, and a range of static aircraft, all designed for that one, for the custom to unique to Innsbruck Airport. It also includes the a complete city scene for the city of Innsbruck surrounding it as well. Also includes, for all the rotor heads out there, you get 3 major heliports are also included as well. You get the Flight Rescue Center, the Alpen 5 Hattuks heliport, as well as the University Hospital's rooftop helipad is also included in there as well. All major bridges, freeways are also custom modeled as well and implemented throughout. As I said, all done and optimized and done in a True Earth style with all their coverage as well. So over 160 custom points of interest are also included for all the VFR flyers. So there is a lot going on in this scenery. There really is. And really got to admit that for the price, you pretty much can't go past it. Like, I have to say that this has to be possibly one of the best value. You'll get the most bang for your buck out of this product. You really, really will. So you're looking at about $28 or your regional equivalent, available now from Orbix. Continuing on with other X-Plane 11 scenery releases, the guys over at UK 2000 have continued on with their slow progress of porting over all their content over from the ESP platforms over onto X-Plane. This time they're going out a bit more, doing a bit more this time. So this time, this is the release of Glasgow Extreme for X-Plane. So these guys have gone out. They've sort of only sort of briefly sort of mentioned they were working on it. Then suddenly it's here. It just arrived. So this comes through here. What's interesting though is they've actually done a few extra things which we haven't seen previously in their X-Plane ports. So specifically, I'm calling out the fact that these guys have actually redone a lot of the texturing. And they've actually done a full implementation of all of the X-Plane 11 specular lighting system. Also included the updated all the textures to be, all the major textures to be PBR compatible as well. They've updated all the custom light and halo effects as well. Custom taxiways that you can actually see, actually set up as well. And all implemented options for both the ground traffic AI and also AI traffic for aircraft as well. Otherwise, it's a bit dated in the layout of the airport. It's going back a few years ago, but it still includes full detail textures on all the buildings, realistic ground markings, implementation, as I said, of night effects before, as well as implementation of a variety of static aircraft as well, which is something that has been distinctly lacking from their X-Plane ports previously, as I said as well. So if you wanted to pick this one up, you're looking at picking this one up for about $20 or your original equivalent, available now from UK 2000. Continuing on with more X-Plane 11 scenery releases, and I think this is the last one I think that I could find out was this week the release of Porto Airport from Area 77 Productions. So this is the second largest, the airport that serves as the second largest city in Portugal, that being the city of Porto. It's a single single runway operations for this one, but it is very, very busy handling a lot of the budget airline traffic into and out of Portugal. So this has been designed as the airport appears at the start of 2019. So all airport buildings have been designed and implemented and done with custom high definition textures throughout. Also includes a lot of attention has been paid to the airport surrounding area as well, with implementations of custom photo reel for the airport and the surrounding areas as well. Also includes all major, as I said, all major airport buildings, including the warehouses, the container park, and car parks, including various static vehicles included. Full implementation of an animated radar as well. All navigation systems and etc. have come through as well. The metro stations as well, freeway bridges, etc. 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 But what is possibly the most important part about this as well is going to be a big one for the helicopter fans. So there is a range of helicopter there's two heliports that are actually supplied with this as well. So not only do you get the airport, you also get the Morelos heliport, which is near the airport, and also you get the Pedro Hispano Hospital heliport as well, so on the major hospital. So really cool for this one. You also get the custom terrain mesh and a few other things. But as I said, it's really great to see more and more developers actually sort of thinking about rotary winged fellow flight simmers and actually coming through and supporting them with the great stuff as well. So well done to you guys. Thanks very much for that. If you wanted to add this one to your collection, this one's coming out for about $23 US, or the original equivalent, available now from xplane.org. Alright, moving away from X-Plane, moving into flight simulation of a different kind with Tower 3D, with the latest airport coming out for those guys this week. This time the release of Paris's Charles de Gaulle Airport. Not really much coming out to say about this one, because I'm not really into tower ops. But for those who are, I'm sure this will be interesting for you. So this is actually, I must say that CDG is a very interesting airport with the fact that it's got 4 parallel runways. It's sort of two sets of pairs of parallel runways. It's like, now, I think the ATC probably wouldn't be so bad. I think it would be the ground controller that would go absolutely ballistic with that. That would be crazy. Anyway, but this is a rendition of the airport as it appears during the end of 2018. Don't think too much has changed between 2018 and 2019. It gives you implementation available now. So you can pick this one up for $20 US, or your original equivalent, either direct from Feel There or via Steam. Available now. Moving away from flight simulation and moving into the world of the permanent way, the guys at Train Simulator have released a couple of pieces of DLC this week. The first one being the D&R GW SW1200 locomotive. So this is also known as the Rio Grande Rio Grande company. So it's come through. Offers a variety. It's a very interesting diesel-electric locomotive that comes through, and it was a very popular one during the 1960s. And it comes through with a very highly detailed rendition of it, including a highly detailed 3D model, both internally and externally, customizable details, including exhaust stacks, cab, sunshades, pilots and handrails, realistic cab controls and operating features. Also includes a variety of bits of rolling stock, including the insulated boxcar, 46-foot gondola with multiple loads, 2-bay covered hopper, and a 1400 class caboose in 6 authentic liveries. It also includes 4 career scenarios. However, if you want the career scenarios to work, you do have to have the Salt Lake City route extension available separately to be able to make them work. So if you want to pick this one up, you can add this one to your Train Simulator collection for $20 US, or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. And the other release for Train Simulator 2019 this week was the release of the Peterborough York Modern Scenario Pack. So this is a scenario pack out of the 1990s during what was called the sectorization of British Rail, and before it was privatised and sold off to the private sector. Where a lot of the colourful liveries were starting to make their way onto various trains as well. It actually comes through, and this is 10 career scenarios for obviously the East Coast mainline route coming through here, which covers the York to Peterborough areas. And it's a very interesting mix of scenario content coming through, from high-speed sort of services to a bit of shunting work as well, and sort of even some freight sets up as well. Now, along with the 10 career scenarios, you get a variety of new liveries for a variety of trains. You also get an additional Mark 1 BG variant as well for one of your trains, so coming through for that. As I said, if you are wanting to use, again, as I always say with a lot of these scenario packs, you have to be aware of the additional content that you need to have to make all of it work. So in order to have it, you have to be able to have not only the East Coast mainline modern York to Peterborough route, you also have to have the BR Class 31 freight and freight locomotive and the passenger locomotive and a variety of other things as well. Please read the conditions as well on the site. But if you want to pick this one up, it's pretty standard price for scenario packs of $10 US or regional equivalent, available now on Steam. And with that, folks, that does now round out the NovaWrap this week. Thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these videos and want to see more. And, of course, as always, you can catch up with me and all the things I'm up to between videos by finding me on Facebook and on Twitter. Just search NovaWing24. All right, folks, thank you very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.